I stand at the podium of the Thomas Matthews Memorial Scholarship Benefit, looking out at the crowd. The room is filled with industry leaders, community members, and our employees, all here to honor my father. A year has passed since his death, and our family and the company have come a long way. But as I look around, my mind drifts back to that fateful day at my brother's wedding, a day that changed everything. My name is Lily, and I'm 34 years old. I come from a family deeply rooted in the construction business. My father, Henry, started Matthews Construction 30 years ago with nothing but a dream and a lot of determination. He was a hard, working man, but he had some old-fashioned ideas about family and business. My mother, Rose, was always more concerned with social status and appearances. My brother, Ethan, is 40. He's charming, with a gift for making friends and networking. He's always been the golden child in our family. From a young age, it was clear that Ethan was destined for great things in my parents' eyes, while I was seen as the practical, responsible one, the one who needed to work twice as hard for half the recognition. I graduated from Harvard Business School with an MBA and came back to help run our family company. As the CFO, I've been the one negotiating contracts, managing finances, and ensuring our company's profitability. Meanwhile, Ethan held the title of Vice President of Client Relations, but his actual contributions were often overshadowed by his charm. He'd attend client dinners, tell stories on the golf course, and take credit for deals I'd painstakingly structured. The trouble started when Ethan announced his engagement to Isabella, the daughter of Victor, the owner of a powerful luxury real estate development company, Sterling Properties. For the past 2 years, Matthews Construction had an exclusive, multi-million-dollar contract with Sterling Properties, which I'd personally negotiated to secure favorable terms for our company. When the engagement was announced at a family dinner, my mother was over the moon. "This is like a business marriage and a real one at the same time," she gushed. I forced a smile, but I felt a knot in my stomach. There was something calculating about Isabella's gaze when she looked at our family, as if we were a project to be managed. Over the next few months, the signs of trouble became more and more evident. At the engagement party held at the Sterling estate, a sprawling mansion that made our family home look tiny, Isabella's mother, Grace, looked me up and down and said, "How very professional you look." That evening, I was repeatedly introduced as Ethan's sister who worked for the family business, even though I was the CFO who had doubled our company's revenue in 4 years. As the wedding preparations intensified, so did the small humiliations. Isabella would call me at work with trivial questions about Ethan's preferences, like the name of a family vacation spot. "Some lake with a funny name," she'd say, interrupting my important budget meetings. 2 months before the wedding, I finally managed to talk to Ethan. "I feel like things are changing between us, Ethan, and I'm worried about Dad." "He doesn't look well," I said. Ethan just sighed and checked his watch. "You're overthinking, Lily. Dad's fine, and I'm getting married. Things are supposed to change." I tried to express my concerns about Sterling Properties. "I'm not sure they respect what we've built here." Ethan's expression hardened. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Isabella's family has connections that can take our company to the next level." Dad agrees. The morning of Ethan and Isabella's wedding dawned bright and perfect, as if the universe was conspiring against me. I arrived at the venue early, dressed in a beautiful burgundy dress I'd bought for the occasion. But instead of getting ready with the family, I was immediately pulled into vendor-related problems by Isabella's wedding planner. By the time the ceremony started, I was exhausted. During the reception, I endured subtle digs from the Sterling relatives about my job and my single status. And then, when it was time for dinner, I couldn't find my place card in the main reception area. A waiter informed me that I was seated in the kitchen annex. I stood there, frozen, as Grace approached me. "Oh, dear, we needed someone near the staff to keep things running smoothly. Isabella thought you'd be perfect since you're so good at managing things," she said, patting my arm. I looked over at Ethan, sitting at the head table, laughing with Isabella and her parents, while my own parents beamed with pride at the next table. I went to Ethan during a break. "Why am I seated in the kitchen?" I asked. He looked uncomfortable. Lily, don't start. The seating was complicated. Isabella had a system. I was furious. A system that puts your sister with a catering staff? How does that make any sense? As I watched Ethan walk away, I felt a fundamental shift in our relationship. I realized that he had chosen Isabella's family over me, and that they saw our family business as nothing more than an acquisition target. 2 weeks later, while reviewing our quarterly financial statements, I noticed a series of small transfers to an unknown account. After hours of investigation, I discovered that Ethan had been diverting nearly $2 million from our company's accounts to invest in Sterling Properties developments over the past 18 months. When I confronted my father with the evidence, he sighed resignedly. Ethan needed capital to establish himself with the Sterling family. It's an investment in our future. I was shocked. Dad, this is embezzlement. And there's a merger in the works too, right? He admitted that he and Victor had been discussing a merger for months, a merger that would effectively make our company a subsidiary of Sterling Properties and reduce me to a consulting role. I was devastated. I dedicated my life to this company, and now my own family was planning to push me out. But then, I remembered a termination clause in the contract I'd negotiated with Sterling Properties. I realized that I had the power to cancel the contract. I contacted our company's lawyer, and after careful consideration, I decided to take action. I called an emergency board meeting and presented the evidence of Ethan's financial misconduct and the secret merger plans. The meeting was explosive. Ethan stormed in, furious that I'd called the meeting. Victor and Isabella also showed up, demanding an explanation for the contract termination notice I'd left on Victor's desk. As the truth came out, it was clear that Ethan had been manipulated by Isabella and Victor. They had seen our company as an easy target, and Ethan, blinded by love and the promise of a better future, had played right into their hands. My father finally saw the error of his ways. He apologized to me for not recognizing my contributions and for allowing Ethan to make such a mess. He decided that Matthews Construction would not merge with Sterling Properties and that we would terminate the contract. In the aftermath, there was a lot of chaos. Ethan's marriage fell apart, and Sterling Properties faced a major crisis. Our company also faced some challenges in the short term, but with the support of our loyal employees and a new partnership with Norton International, we managed to not only survive but thrive. Ethan came to realize the truth and felt deeply remorseful. He decided to come back to the company, not as a vice president, but as someone who wanted to learn and contribute. My mother also changed her ways. She started to appreciate my hard work and began to be more involved in the company's charitable initiatives. And then there was Michael, Isabella's younger brother. He came to me one day, revealing that Sterling Properties was on the verge of bankruptcy due to overextension. He had always been against his family's unethical business practices and wanted to make amends. We decided to give him a chance, and he's become a valuable asset to our company's sustainable building initiatives. Looking back on that journey from the humiliation of the kitchen table to where we are now, I've learned that standing up for myself, even against my own family, was the right thing to do. Respect is something that has to be earned, and I'm proud of how far we've come as a family and as a company.